Marfoogle TV. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things that have been really, really big on the ecosphere yesterday, and that is, of course, that Trump signed this directive that could possibly deploy U.S. military to Mexico. This seems to me like something that we've already talked about, and something that that we a few months ago really, really looked at was a huge, huge deal. Now, I don't know if people are forgetting that there was this odd bridge that was being made in the Darien Gap, but I don't. And a lot of the things that have happened over the last few months, and in fact, over the last 6 months, it seems odd to me that people are forgetting that all of this stuff was going on back in the last administration. Of course, this bridge that was being built, no one knew who was actually funding it, and then, some people dug into it, and a lot of folks thought that it was related to a Chinese company. Now, if that has been debunked by now, I would hope it would have been, but again, I don't know. But I do know that there have been a ton of people coming through Mexico into the United States over this last 4 years. Now, all of a sudden, we have one of the craziest operations to stop people from coming into our country. And now you have, of course, this order put in to essentially put the cartels in the number one spot. Now, I've seen everything that people think, everybody thinks that this may be a distraction, that it may be something where, this is going to take our attention away from all of the EpiPen stuff and all of the bad stuff heading towards our president. But I think that this is par for the course of what exactly we thought was going on. Now, as far as everything that's happening here, I'll just read over some of this, what exactly it was. Again, he signed a directive that could deploy U.S. military in Mexico, of course, ordered the United States military to target drug cartels and foreign terrorist organizations, or FTOs, on Friday, prompting concerns over diplomacy and presidential overreach. The New York Times reported. Citing sources close to the matter, the Times reported that the Trump signed the order directing the Pentagon to begin using military force against overseas targets. It's not clear if the order includes language about obtaining Congress's consent. That's a big deal, of course, as well. And of course, the administration declared multiple cartels and criminal gangs as FTOs earlier this year. Now, if you remember that was when we had the hotel, or I'm sorry, not the hotel, the apartment building that was possibly being taken over, and the entire week of news was all about this, Colorado hotel, or sorry, I keep saying hotel because it looked like one. This apartment building being taken over, right? So, and everybody was afraid. Everybody's like saying, hey, MS-13 and all of these things are coming back, or that they're, really, really scary gangs are taking over parts of our cities. Now, the other side of the aisle, of course, said, oh, this is fake. In fact, even if I've mentioned MS-13 just the other day, I mentioned it, and they're like, but are MS-13 really real? Are they really around? Like, are they back? And I was thinking, where did they go? Some of the gangs mentioned, these are gangs that are some of the most famous and infamous gangs out there, and they're all over the place. I mean, you can walk down the street and see one of their gang tattoos. I mean, people are everywhere that are in these things. I would think that they were bigger than most of the other, secret or not so secret groups, or terror cells, or something like that, because these guys put tattoos right on their body telling you what they are. And people, for some reason, think that these are fake and that this is a fake threat. As far as, I understand that people look at it and say, hey, this was overhyped, or that this was used to scare us. But at the same time, this is something that is real. I mean, cartels have been around for a very long time. In fact, cartels have had help from the U.S. government and others in top places, agencies that have helped or have basically, employed cartels, or have helped one side of a cartel to defeat another side of the cartel that's been annoying them. These things have happened a lot. So when you see this, you really start to wonder, like, what are they going after? Who are they going after? And what is happening? Now, there's plenty of room for side theories and really crazy thoughts here, but if you go back to kind of the same pattern that's held over time, it seems to me like we are preparing for something big. And I mean big. You've got the Golden Dome system. You've got us clamping down on our border like we've never done before. I mean, this isn't just a campaign promise. Something is going on. I would love to hear your feedback as far as like, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys agree that something way, way bigger than just keeping people out of our country is going on? With China and Russia practicing all in the same time period, and then all of a sudden we're going after these cartels. It makes you think that maybe these cartels are being hired, or they now have a new boss, or there's somebody above them. If you think that there's not countries at the very top, or inserted at the top of these cartels, then I would say you're crazy. If not our own country, right? We know that our own country has been, it's almost like a big proxy. You've got these gangs that you think are just completely separate, big corporations of gangs, but I think that most of them probably have ties into different countries. I mean, obviously Mexico and Venezuela are the two countries that are being talked about right now, which they're saying that this would, again, significantly impact relations with two countries, Mexico and Venezuela. Well, both of these countries have ties with other countries, and of course, this Mexico kind of path into our country isn't going to go away unless we close the doors, right? So, of course, they can build a wall, they can do all of these things, but you can never truly watch your border 1,000%. Not unless some sort of new technology comes in, not unless we literally create something that we've never seen before to essentially make the United States a prison, which some people are worried about. Lola Cafe, thank you for the support. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super. I cannot say thank you enough for everybody that's supporting us through this move. All right. So again, I would love your feedback. What do you guys think about that? If you want to know my true and honest opinion, I think that this ties in with China. I think that something way bigger is going on. I think that the Golden Dome, the Greenland, everything is tied together. And again, I'll probably put a video together just going over what I think about the connections with Mexico, the Golden Dome, and everything that's happening. Now, also yesterday, very, very big thing happened. Satellite images show that Israel is building up forces for a possible ground invasion of Gaza. Now, as of now, things are moving forward in almost every aspect of war. The Strip, of course, is a sensitive topic for many. Everybody has picked a side on this. One thing I will say is that this conflict is not going away. The Middle East is not going to have peace, and obviously that's why it's a cliche. He made peace in the Middle East as a joke, because it's just not going to happen. They said that the images showed troop movements and formations that the force sources recognize as signs of an imminent major ground operation. Now, as of today, we're going to be following everything that's happening with everything going on in the Middle East. But there's, again, just, one thing after another shows that this is not going to be a peaceful situation. And then Germany suspends arms exports to Israel over this plan. Germany's suspension of arms exports to Israel marked a significant development in European-Israeli relations and international debate over the ongoing conflict in the Strip. As one of Israel's principal allies, Germany's decision highlighted rising global concerns about the humanitarian impact of Israel's intensified military actions in the region and signaled possible shifts in Western policy towards the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The move underscored growing divide among international stakeholders regarding military escalation and how Israel aims to achieve its stated security objectives in the Strip. You have not only division and this kind of stripping of relations between countries because of this, but you also have a lot of people lining up on different sides of this. I also want to point out, I didn't have any notes on this, but Armenia and Azerbaijan, officially declaring peace, or that they're ending this war. And you have, of course, our president right in the middle at this time where you're seeing this video that really kind of underscores, the Dawn's goal, which is peace, right? You have this huge accomplishment that Azerbaijan and Armenia are now at peace with Donald right in the middle. At the same time, why are they declaring peace? And these are the same countries that are right in the same zone as this whole Turkey Black Sea operation that is possibly going into play with a war against Russia. You have all of these countries that are essentially saying, "Hey, we're gonna squash our differences because something bigger is coming." That's what I feel. And if you look at the map, and I would highly recommend going and looking at where Azerbaijan and Armenia are, this whole area, I believe, I don't even believe, I know they are preparing for something far more massive. They're all installing air defenses like they are Ukraine, and that should tell you something. And then a biblical sea turned blood red, sparking apocalyptic fears God's plagues have returned. Stunned visitors watch crimson waves roll into the shore, with some comparing the eerie transformation to the 10 plagues God inflicted with the Egyptians in biblical narrative Exodus. I mean, it is 2025, so you would think that, man, the timing of all of this is just crazy. Again, the biblical Sea of Galilee has mysteriously turned a vivid blood red, leaving locals rattled and a warning of a bad omen. Now, I know that some people follow this very to the T, as far as, we've covered a lot of different bodies of water turning blood red. And of course, they usually explain it away with algae or this or that. But I would say that some of these things, it is absolutely crazy when these things or these signs that some say happen, that we do actually have these great changes, or we have these great kind of movements in the world. So I highly recommend people understand that, there's always going to be these kind of stories, but at the same time, it always makes you wonder, what is God doing right now with our planet? What is he doing right now with us? What is the goal of everything right now? It's very easy to try, kind of lose sight of faith and understand that, just there's not a lot of stuff that we can't control. The things we can control, obviously, is how we prepare ourselves and our family for whatever may come, whether that be the end, whether it be the beginning of something, whether that be just another kind of step in the craziness. And then Trump orders a surge of law enforcement in Washington to combat crime. President Trump has directed an increased presence of federal law enforcement to protect innocent citizens. White House Carolyn Leavitt said in a statement, noting that the city has been plagued by violent crime for too long. The White House said that an additional law enforcement officers would be deployed on the streets for 7 days, commencing midnight, following an 11 p.m. roll call on Thursday established command center. The operation, led by U.S. Park Police, will involve officers from the U.S. Capitol Police, Homeland Security Investigations, the Federal Protective Service, and Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, and more, ATF, everybody, the Marshal Service, U.S. Attorney's Office, everybody. Before the announcement, Trump said on August 5th that he was considering placing the District of Columbia under federal control after the recent assault of former Department of Government Efficiency staffer Edward Corristine. What the hell is going on for 7 days? Again, I ask you that, and let me know why 7 days, why not 12 days, why not 15 days? What do you guys think about some of these stories? Let me know in the comments down below. And again, we will be having Comcast come in and put in actual service tomorrow, so we will see you, and we will have regular shows very, very soon, so hang tight. All right, you guys, thank you so much, and Lola Cafe, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you guys. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.